Hello, we're back, and we're going to try some Micro Mini Basic and Advanced skirmish gaming with two of our factions that we've played before. The one on the left has some new models, which I'm going to show you in just a second. I've really redone them, and we have Lauren on the left, and we have the Molemen on the right. And they're going to help me test out these rules. I've played them a couple of times. I'm not going to be using very many advanced rules, except for the tanks, which are going to be combined units. So they're going to have multiple wounds, and yeah, they're just going to be they're just going to play differently. They have more wounds than these guys. So each one just kind of counts as a single unit. And let's get down to the factions. Okay, so this is the new look for Lorne. Their tank is about the same. I wanted to give them more of like a sludge look. If you guys have ever heard of the skirmish game Sludge, it's actually more of a war game. But I really liked the look a lot of those guys had with sort of the World War I thing, but they also had like the metal helmets that looked really pike and shot or like really medieval. So I did up some infantry, and I did up this chaplain guy. I have some lore for these guys that I want to talk about at some point. I'm still kind of developing it. It's sort of my own little war game world that I'm coming up with. But these guys are from a sort of tyrannical monarcho-fascist nation called Lorne, where they are like suicidally loyal to like this king or grand marshal type guy, and they kind of exist in a sort of, it's a lot like Sludge, the technological level, where it's sort of like this black powder plus pike and shot plus tanks, stuff like that. And I think these guys turned out looking a lot better than my first attempt at Lorne. But we got some really cool stuff coming. I'm really excited to show you guys the cavalry that I'm making for these guys. They look awesome. And we're going to have some larger scale battles with these guys as well. There's a lot more infantry than what's being shown here. And we have like two of those gun tractors. I have some lore for all this stuff as well. And the Molemen haven't really changed in appearance because I like how they look. I like the scrap tank. I like kind of how scrappy they look. These models came from, I think, Black Cat bases. If you guys want some Molemen yourselves, I'm thinking about getting some more eventually, but we're actually working on another faction right now. So the Molemen are unfortunately kind of stopped where they're at. But without further ado, let's get started. All right, so here's our setup here. We're going to be fighting over this, after this sort of abandoned refinery type place. I'm not sure what that is. I just thought those looked cool together. Lorne is deployed to the northwest, and we have the Molemen deployed to the southeast. And we are going to try and capture and hold this center area here. And we're going to see who can do it the best. So now we're going to roll off. We're going to see who goes first. All right, so Lorne rolls a 3, and the Molemen roll a 5. So the Molemen get to go first. All right, so the Molemen have chosen to activate their scrap tank. They're afraid of the gun tractor and the amount of damage it was able to do last time. So they're going to do a confidence test on their scrap tank. And that is a success, so it does not take any stress. And the scrap tank steams on ahead towards the center, doubling its speed at 8 inches. Likewise, Lorne is going to rev up their own gun tractor, and they're going to roll it towards the center. So they're going to do their stress test here. And that's a success. So their gun tractor crew is going to drive towards the center, doubling their speed. Actually, you know, I think they're probably going to go... You can move and shoot if you do just your normal speed, which is 4 inches. So I think we're going to measure it out. I think they're actually going to risk it. They're going to go 4 inches here. And I think they're going to measure to see if they can shoot at the scrap tank. And the gun tractor is barely within range to bring its primary cannon to bear against the scrap tank. So it's going to be rolling 3 shots. Well, 1 shot, but it's got 3 dice worth of hits to it. And any 4s or higher count as a hit, because this is a compressed large unit. So here we go. So we have 1 hit there. So the scrap tank is going to try and roll its, because it's a shot and it's only 1 hit, we're going to roll 1 die. If it gets a 4 up, it manages to shrug off the shell. It does not, so that is 1 hit on the scrap tank. All right, back to the mole men. They're going to try and activate their gunner squad. So these guys succeed their rolls on 5s. We're going to roll their confidence test. And there is a 6 in there and a 5 in there, so they actually succeed. And they're going to be able to activate without stress. The mole men decided to double their speed and move into cover here, trying to seek protection from the shells raining from the gun tractor across the field. And that is their activation. The fighting men of Lorne likewise are going to activate. So we're going to see if they can succeed their confidence check, which they do. And I believe they actually want to move up in sort of a line formation and see if they can take any more wounds off that tank. They have a faster base speed than their lumbering vehicle. And unfortunately, they are not within range of the scrap tank. So they only moved at their normal speed for no real reason. It's time for the Mole Man Commander to try and activate. So leaders activate on a 3, or not activate. We're going to do a stress test. So he's activating, and he succeeds on a 3. That's a success, and he's going to be able to make his move. Now, they can't move very far. They move about 3 inches, and that's just how it works in this game. The stronger you are, for some reason, the slower you move. So his base speed is 3 inches, and the same with the chaplain on the other side. So he's actually going to be doubling his speed to move up with his allies here. He's going to be moving 6 inches and putting himself right there. And likewise, the Lornish chaplain, here we go. He succeeds, and he too is going to be doubling his speed and trying to catch up with his guys there. So that's the end of the first round. Let's go ahead and roll initiative again and see who gets to go first. So first, the Mole Men with a 4, and Lorne with a 1. So the Mole Men are once again activating first. Okay, so the scrap tank is again going to activate. We are going to roll their confidence check. Since it took a wound, it counts as one of the models being taken out. Compressed units just represent multiple models. So they're going to roll 2 die for their confidence test, and they need 4s. And both of which, yeah, that's 2 5s, so they succeed. He's only going to move 4 inches, which is roughly like here. He's going to move to the middle, and he is going to shoot at the gun tractor. So we're going to see if he can pull that off. So we're getting 4s. That is a 2 and a 1. So the shell rockets from the cannon of the scrap tank and ricochets with really loud metallic clang off of the thick armor of the gun tractor and flies off into the distance and probably destroys some tree or something. But yep, that's unfortunate. The Mole Men are starting to have nightmare flashbacks about that Gaslight game. All right, the Lornish infantry is going to try and activate. So we need 5s for their confidence test. Okay, so they got some 6s and some 5s. That's a succeeded confidence test. These guys are going to move their normal speed, and they're going to try and pick off some of those infantry over there from the Mole Men. So let's measure out 5 inches here and see if we can get them in range. So they're going to move about there. Oh, this guy, yeah, he can move here. Okay, so ranged attacks are afoot, so we're going to see who can hit them. Can this guy hit? Yes, he can. This guy can hit. This guy can hit. This guy can't really see past the cover. He can see this guy here, but he can't hit him. This guy in the middle can hit. This guy at the back cannot hit. So we're looking at 4 of the 6 being able to make shots. So let's roll 4 die, and we're looking for 5s for the infantry, and that is 2. So we're looking at 2 of these guys are hit, and they're going to roll their defense die, which is also 5s, and we're going to see how many of those guys survive. None of them. So both of those guys are hit. We'll take those off the closest ranks. 2 mole men go down under Lornish gunfire. The mole men are not going to take this lying down. They got 4 guys left. We're going to see if they can succeed a confidence test, and they want to move in and draw some blood themselves. So 5s. Okay, they succeed. So these guys are also going to move in, and they're going to shoot at the Lornish infantry. So they have movement of 5 inches. Guarantee we can get them all in range. Yeah, you bet. In fact, I'm going to arrange them kind of like in a firing line, like so, because they can shoot through one another, unlike in Gaslight. Okay, so we're looking at 4 die. We're hitting on 5s. Ooh, okay, no, that's 2. Thought this was a 5. Okay. Okay, let's get some defense rolls from the Lornish infantrymen. 5s. That's 1 succeeds with a 6, and 1 fails. So that's 1 dead Lornish infantryman. Okay, let's do a confidence test for the gun tractor. We need 4s. That's a 6. We succeed, which is good because the other 2 are 1s. And once again, the gun tractor is going to try and put a shell right into that scrap tank. So we're looking at 4s here. 1 of which gets through. So we're looking at a 4 up on the scrap tank to see if it can deflect. And it rolls a 6. Man, this thing rolls a lot of 6s. So the shell of the scrap tank, or the shell of the gun tractor, ricochets off the scrap tank and disappears into the woods. For the life of me, I can't determine why commanders are so weak in this game. They're slow. They tend not to get a ton done, and they just kind of exist there. There are advanced rules for like giving commanders abilities, which give them more use, but I don't know. A lot of the time they just sit in the back. On that topic, yeah, we're activating the commander on a 3. Just thought I would talk about that a little bit. Activation, well, he's activated, but he succeeded his confidence test. And you know what? He's going to join his boys over, well, he's going to try. So that's 3 inches. And he's going to see, I think he's in range of the infantry there. He's going to use his firearm. You in range? Oh yeah, you sure are. Okay, so he's gonna pull out his own scrap gun, and he is going to take a shot in one of the infantry, succeeding on a 3. That's a 5. That's a success. And one of the infantry, they got to roll a 5. See if they can dodge the shot or shrug it off. That's a 3. That's a 2nd dead Lornish infantryman. Okay, body count's 2 for 2, unless you count the wound on the tank. The chaplain back there is not too happy to see his guys going down like that, so he's going to roll his confidence test, and he is going to try and run up and support his guys We're just going to run him his full 6-inch range. He's not going to shoot. He just wants to be able to get into the fight. Okay, that's a 5. That's a success. So we're going to move him to 6 inches and get him in there. Okay, so he runs up and he joins his boys. That's the end of both activations, I believe. So we're going to roll some initiative for the next round now. Okay, so let's move the camera here. So you're not seeing too much of our room here. All right. So first up, what's the roll for the mole men? They roll a 1. And Lorne is going to roll. They rolled a 6. Jeez, okay. I guess Lorne's going first. Well, first things first, I think they want to, they're going to activate their tank. They really want to get rid of some of this nonsense going on here. So we're going to roll their confidence roll. We're looking for 4s. That's a success. That tank is not really going to move. It is instead going to take another shot at that scrap tank there and try and blow it up. So the cannon once again roars. We're looking at 4s here. That's 2. Okay, scrap tank has to make... It's only got 2 wounds left, so it has to make at least 1. Looking at 4s here. It does make 1, however... That's the shell does penetrate, and it's not looking pretty good. I'm pretty sure the scrap tank is smoking a little bit, but it's going to return fire. So we're going to roll its confidence check. It needs a 4. Okay, that's a success for the confidence check. If you're wondering what the confidence checks are, they do this at the beginning of their activation, and if you fail, they get a stress point. And if you get too much stress, that's another way to lose a model because it just can't do anything. You get like a -1 to rolls when you do that, and that's not good. By that I mean like it's harder to do stuff. So you would need 5s instead of 4s for it to do anything. So it's getting pretty smoky inside that hull there, and it's going to take another shot at the gun tractor. So we need a 4. That's a 2. That's not good enough. So I think it goes a little too high and kind of soars over the hull there. Okay, so we're going to activate the let's activate the Lornish Chaplain. So he needs a 3 to pass a confidence. He rolls a 1. He actually gains a stress. All the gunfire, it's just stressing the guy out. So let's get a stress counter on him. And try not to drop the stress counters everywhere. So here's one of our stress counters. It's just a little red D6. He's got 1 there. So he is actually going to shoot at the... he's going to shoot at the Moleman infantry. Instead of a 3, he needs a 4 now because he's stressed. And how you can get rid of that is you can, instead of activating him, you can instead rest him, and that would just kind of like pass your turn. So here we go. He's actually going to shoot, though, and we're hitting on a 4. That's a 3. Not good enough. So he fires off, and it right over their short little bodies. The Moleman infantry is going to activate next, and they need 5s. Okay, that's activated. And they're all going to shoot at the Lornish infantry. So we need 5s. That is 4, 4, 3, 3. They all miss. I'm guessing the smoke from the tank is kind of billowing this way and getting in their eyes because they're not seeing straight. Let's see what's left. We did. I think the Lornish infantry needs to activate now. So we're looking for 5s for them as well to succeed their confidence. And they have 1 5. Thank goodness, because the rest were 4s, 3s, and a 1. So these guys are actually going to move a little closer. Not too much closer, but they're just going to kind of get in range of the leader here. because their goal is they wanna kill that commander. Okay, so they're hitting on 5s. That's 2 6s. So the commander succeeds on 3s. Oh, and it's got 1. They just killed the commander. Because he succeeded 1. He dodged 1. The other one hit him. The commander is dead. So I think when that happens, both of the remaining units have to do confidence checks. So we're going to do a confidence check with the tank, succeeding on 4. Succeeded. And the infantry squad succeeding on 5. Succeeded. So they're not overly bothered with their commander suddenly getting shot by Lornish infantry. But, okay. So let's roll some initiative again. Let's reposition the camera here. Just a little bit. I've decided this is the better end of the table to film because the other one has that big shadow from the factory. So this first roll goes to the Mole Men, who roll a 2, and the Lornish folks, who roll a 5. So it looks like Lorne is going first again. Man, they're doing way better in this fight than they did in the Gaslight fight. You guys remember that one if you saw it? Man, they were almost killed to a man, actually. So the first thing they're going to do, I feel like it's a mistake to do that, but I kind of want to just rest our commander. Yeah, that's a mistake. We're going to activate the infantry, so let's do a confidence roll for them. We need 5s. 1 success, okay. So they're now going to try and they're going to put a bunch of shots into the Moleman infantry there. Hitting on 5s. So that's 2 to succeed. So these guys are succeeding on, or shrugging it off on 5s. Not, ooh, that's a 1 and a 2 there. So that's 2 dead Molemen. That's not looking good for the Molemen. The Molemen are going to activate their tank. And let's see if it succeeds the confidence roll. Needs a 4. Okay, succeeds. Instead, it's going to turn its cannon on these guys here. It's actually going to move closer and try and shoot them point blank. I know there's no rules for that, but it looks awfully intimidating when you got this the scrap tank rolling up on these infantry here. Maybe when we do 1-hour skirmish games like this will definitely make a difference because there's like penalties for shooting at armored targets, I think. Anyhow, so succeeding on a 4. Oh my. He rolled a 2, man. How did you miss? They were right in front of you, dude. How did you miss that? Man, that sucks. It's got to be really smoky in there. Like, well, you know, we're going to try and activate the gun tractor. We're going to return fire. We're going to protect our infantry there. So we need a 4 for the confidence check. Okay, we've activated successfully without some stress. We're going to move up a little bit, close the distance. Just over this guy's dead body, we're going to try and put another shell into that scrap tank and finish her off. So gun tractor fires. That's 1 successful hit. It shrugs it off on a 4. And it fails. The scrap tank explodes. The turret comes falling off and smoke just billows out of it. And that is the end of the scrap tank. It's not looking good for the Molemen. The Molemen have 2 guys left over. And they have a completely untouched, maybe slightly scratched gun tractor, 4 remaining infantry, and their stressed out chaplain over there. So I think once again the fighting men of Lorne have driven off the poor Molemen. This one was a lot less close than the other one, I gotta say. In Gaslight, it was kind of close. Like, it was a little hard to tell. But not here. Not here. So, anyway, yeah, that was Micro Mini, Basic and Advanced. We used mostly basic rules here. The only advanced rule we used was the compressed units for the tanks. We'll explore some of the more advanced rules later on. There are a couple of gripes I have about the game, and that is just because I don't know. Maybe it makes a lot more sense and I'm just reading it wrong, but it seems like the stronger a unit is, the slower it is, and like the less dice it has. But I guess it succeeds more often. I'm not sure what the mathematics on that are. Like more dice, could that equal more successes, or like one dice with a lower required roll? Does that equal more successes? Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's fun anyway. I play this more than any other skirmish game right now. But anyway, thank you for watching. We will have a lot more Lornish content in the future, especially once we have some more rival factions. But until then, we'll see you next.